Our final speaker for today joined Toastmasters in March of this year. In his icebreaker speech titled, "Bloom Where You Are Planted," Marco is going to walk you through some hurdles in his life and tell you what he has learned along the way. Let's welcome Toastmaster Mark Wright.
How many people in this room have had to overcome adversity in their lives? Yeah. When facing a major decision, whether it's how to deal with an existing problem or whether or not to take a chance on a new endeavor, a lot of people, including myself, spend more time worrying than actually figuring out how to solve that problem or whether or not that chance is worth taking. In my house growing up, we had a plaque that said, "Bloom where you're planted." I never asked about the plaque, but it was always there, near the kitchen. I interpreted it to mean, stay put. The grass isn't greener on the other side, which, given my family, was a logical interpretation. Both of my parents and my grandparents were born and raised in the same town in Michigan and never ventured out to broaden their horizons. And I hadn't thought about the plaque in years. I happened to Google the phrase a few months ago, and it turns out it means something completely different than I initially thought. It actually encourages you to take advantage of your opportunities and be resilient in the face of adversity. And the irony of my misinterpretation prompted me to reflect on an array of inflection points within my own life. And as I ruminated, it became clear to me that I had developed an analysis paralysis mindset. Even when logic pointed towards taking that leap, I would frequently talk myself out of certain things to avoid having to adapt or to take that chance. And this made me think, God, maybe I need to reprogram my brain to bloom where I'm planted. And so frequently when people are up here giving their icebreakers, they recount stories of hardship that just blow any self-perceived hardships of mine away. That said, I'm going to profile a couple chances that I've taken over the years and the road bumps along the way and where they've led me. And the first major event I'm going to touch on occurred while I was living in Chicago. I've been working in the commercial real estate industry for quite some time. And for years, I was interested in getting on to the investment side of the business versus the consulting side of the business that I had been on. I decided to make the push to get onto the investment side. I engaged a recruiter to pursue opportunities on my behalf while I was still working full-time at my current company. In the process, the recruiter circulated resumes to people throughout the country, and word must have spread that I was looking because, sure enough, my boss called me into his office and told me that, hey, the head of the North American region stumbled across your resume and he is livid that you're looking for another job. And I was fired. Yes, I know. And I was scared. I had just had my first child and had a decision to make. Do I take the easy route, which would be take the same job, just at a different company, or do I keep pushing to get onto the investment side of the business? I kept pushing. It took me a few months, but I ended up connecting with a group that was a great fit for what I was looking to do. And here's the rub. It required a move to Nashville. Okay, so I'd been in Chicago for 17 years. All my friends were in Chicago, and I stressed over the decision. But I pulled the trigger, made the move, and it changed the trajectory of my career substantially. Brings me to major move number 2. This one's different because career development was not a driving force in the decision-making process. Over the years, my wife and I had toyed with the idea of moving to Florida to be closer to her family. We found ourselves revisiting the topic more often, and since the company that I had been with in Nashville had recently sold, we decided to sit down and talk about it a little bit more, and since becoming a Nashville country music star wasn't really in the cards for me, we made a pros and cons list of the stay and go and decided to pull the trigger and make the move. And now you're thinking, well, gosh, it seems like a pretty easy transition without any major hurdles or adversity to overcome and learn from along the way. No. Quite the opposite. So we bought a house in Winter Park, where my wife is from, a couple blocks from my in-laws, and we were only going to make a few minor renovations before moving into our house. And somehow, half of our vendors end up triggering a remarkable series of mishaps. Our plumber flooded our house, ruined our hardwood floors. Our HVAC guy cuts a sprinkler line on the outside of the house, killing our lawn. Oh, man. But now, we are here, we are closer to family, and the quality of life that we are experiencing now has improved dramatically. And we have free babysitting. And so, the reason why I profiled these 2 examples is, not to pat myself on the back for making lemonade out of lemons, but it's to reinforce to myself that, hey, you should change the way you think about taking chances. Because I'm guilty of all the analysis paralysis that we all go through. But if you can find some examples of successful outcomes, it can give you the confidence that if you take that leap and things aren't perfect, you can still come out ahead. And this confidence will prompt you to take advantage of more opportunities when they come your way. I hope everyone has gleaned a couple of nuggets of encouragement to take that leap and bloom where you are planted.